Hello, everyone. How are you? Oh, goodness. Okay, so 'tis another day on planet Earth. So, anyway, I'm gonna get right into it. Last time I pulled out the runes because of Fane. It was Taming the Wind, and it was the Wind, and it was Fane. And then after I was done, well, probably the next day, honestly, I was like, oh, like I forgot to pull around Fane. And then I didn't notice, well, I had the dream and then I forgot until I watched Russ's Libra live. Happy birthday, Russ. If you see this at whatever time point. I already said it, but happy birthday again. When Yarna came out, I had a dream. I think it was a dream. It's weird. Like I have a memory. You have like if you do y'all remember dreams? If you remember a dream, it's like I have a remembrance of a dream that, but I'm like, I don't even know if I really had this dream. But I remember having a dream, or I think I remember having a dream. Anyway, I was like working somewhere or something, and there was a manager named Yarna. I'm like, was it a dream or was it a movie that I was watching somebody like review? I don't know. It's so weird. But like there was everyone was worried about or freaking out about like Yarna coming back. And I remember in the dream I was like Yarna's not here, like what are y'all freaking out for? Like they're not coming. Like she's not here. Um and I was gonna Google it to see if it was actually like a thing. Cause again, like I was like, was that a dream or like was it a video or something that I watched before I went to sleep? I don't know. So basically, I'm going to look around Yarna and Fame. I think Yarna is entwined in the first version of these. I guess we'll just go for it. I'll shuffle it again. And then Fane. So it's going back to the wind and taming the wind. Fane has a flexibility that Yarna does not have. In the first Taming the Wind and the Wind, it was about the sort of structures that exist. Yes. Another one? All right. 1 second, please. In un momento, por favor. I'll be right back. Steph, are you in here? That's hilarious because Amazon had already been here today. And then that was my dad. I guess Amazon came back, or I don't know if he realized he forgot something on the truck. I was just gifted the Water Known Alchemy deck. Thank you, Steph. I just put this and the Elemental Oracle and maybe another deck on my wish list. And I haven't been avoiding this deck, but like at first I was excited that there was another Kim Krantz because I love Kim Krantz. But then when I saw it was about alchemy, I was like, because I'm not like huge into alchemy. And I feel like we start getting into like technicals that I don't know anything about. But I was like, I'll put it on there. And I guess what better time for it to arrive than when we're talking about taming the wind. Um, so let's do it, I guess. Let's get right into it. I'm gonna pull the top room. Oh, Ganunga Gap with Koenig at the bottom. This one actually made an appearance recently, and that one's my solar eclipse rune. So the void and the solar eclipse. Wow. And then even in this one, right? You can see this back here and then that up there. It's almost like it's being eclipsed. And when I was shuffling, Needle was at the bottom of the deck and Ganunga Gap was at the top. And behind Ganunga Gap was number 27. Oh, this is 72, which is interesting. It's the mirror of 27. Let me see real quick. Who was it? I know it was a 9. I'm pretty sure it was 27. Oh, it's still at the button. It's still at the top. I haven't shuffled it yet. It was hot. So it was, wait, no, yeah. Because this wasn't at the bottom before. Needle. Oh, goodness. So somehow I learned to know. Did I? I don't. I think I did shuffle these. Oh, snap! Kathy, hello, hi Eve. You did. I've been like, I saw Eve use it. I think I saw Eve unbox it actually. And at first I was like, oh snap, another Kim Crayons. And then when I saw Alchemy, I was like, oof. Maybe I'll wait. So, so I was just putting some stuff on my wish list. I was updating it a little bit. Not really. There's probably stuff I still need to take off that I don't necessarily like vibe with anymore, or stuff that I just put on there to put it to like fill out the list or something. From lead to gold, the secret sealed. Patience, more will be revealed. Ooh. But yeah, I don't know. I always get a little. Um, I guess it's interesting because I don't necessarily shy away from like alchemy when it comes up, but as far as like proper alchemical stuff, I'm always like, I don't know. Don't Solace. That's interesting because I was thinking of Mithras recently. The sun beyond the sun, the last gate of whatever. Anyway, how are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? These runes are like rah rah. Like when Russ first uploaded runes number 1. These are from them before the poems and everything else. So I know that some of these have changed since then, as they've been refined and honed, and the frequencies have been excavated or what's recavated. I don't know. But I found my other camera, so you get to look at the cards today instead of gazing upon my countenance. Yeah. You just got the deep, dark, and dangerous oracle today. Oh, ooh, that's I can see you with that. Deep, dark, and dangerous. Ooh. Okay, they're not gonna shuffle. How do you keep these like upright? Maybe you don't. I'm like, oof. Okay. I think it's also because I'm not used to wearing rings. 1 second. I got these magnetic hematite rings today. Anyway. Yep. Ooh, the series that's gonna come out of that deck. Have you done a there's a dark one that you have, right? And there's the thumbnail that you use for it with like the lights. There we go. This is such an interesting shape to like shuffle or just to like use. What was I talking about? I don't remember. Oh yeah, it is. I forget that like today is October. Like I know it's Russ's birthday, and I know that Russ is born on the first, but like it still doesn't feel like October. I'm like, what? September is over. Oh, come on, there we go. Oof. We'll give it another shuffle. Um, whoo. Reams uploading again. Have y'all seen? I'm excited. In the Dark series, yes, yes, yes. Okay. I was like, was it in the dark? But yeah, anyway, like they were like, "Oh, Yarna's coming," and it was like the worst manager ever, apparently. Um, oh yeah, so the first time when I was talking about the wind and taming the wind, this card is interesting because this makes me think of a card that I just saw over at the Rare Gazelle. Margarita Preciosa or Preciosa. I know they're hard C's in Latin. Are these Latin? Probably. Maybe. Margarita Preciosa, the new pearl. Oh, snap. Oof. Wassail. Oh, snap. It's so rustling around. Wassail Russell, happy birthday. I know you've used your 3 notifications for today, so. And then I missed every time you went live. Oof, oof, oof. You're welcome. Yeah, it's been a minute since I got seen Kathy pop up. I know it's my life has been like so much work. Even like last week, it was just work, 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 work. To the point where I'm like, okay, there's a not that difficult conversation that I need to have that I've been procrastinating. And I feel like this is kind of sort of low key my pattern. Like, there's this conversation I need to have. I'm not, and then it gets worse. I basically wait until it gets to the point that I have to have the conversation. I think I kind of did it again. Oops. Anyway. It's a labor of love. Yeah, Russ works a lot. So to keep up on his tempo, I'm very impressed. What's this? Let's see what this new pearl is about. The first card, number 44. Is this 44 for real? XL, yeah, 44. Oh, wow. So, speaking of all of the work that I've been doing, um, there were like my time has been stretched so thin between everything kind of sort of like coming up and happening and me being the only person. And like yesterday was a lot. But as I was going to do the stuff that I couldn't do earlier in the month because I just did not have time, I was going out. It was like the last thing that I was doing. And I'm walking by and I see 4 cans. I see 22 and then 444 like taped onto these cans. And then I go in, I set the thing up, and I step out so that I don't contaminate whatever, right? Or to reduce contamination. Excuse me. And as I walk out, I look at the 4 cans. It's 111, 222, 333, 444, all gathered in one place where I'm like, and I feel like it kind of sort of plays on that. I've talked about it before, where it's like, I know that the situation is not ideal. I know that there's an easier, well, I guess I don't want to say I know that there's an easier path or route. It's like with all of the challenge and with all of the difficulty that I'm facing where I am, it still doesn't necessarily feel like I'm supposed to leave. And so I stay and I do way more than I feel like I should have to. And I've been seeing them, like I saw 222, 222, and 333 just like as I was going about my day. And then I saw 444 when I came home on a thumbnail. And then card number 55 came out in the Mystical Shaman Oracle cards. But yeah, they were all like gathered together yesterday, just like nobody else was back there. It was so late. And I'm like, why am I still here? I don't like it. Oof. And then there it was, 111, 222, 333, 444, all just sort of sitting there. I was like, okay, so is this my, you're exactly where you're supposed to be? And it's funny because somebody said that to me. Another funny thing that somebody, another interesting thing that somebody said to me, I think early this week. Somebody was walking behind me and I could barely hear him. And I was like, what? And he's like, oh, you can't hear me because you're on another timeline or something like that. I was like, okay, whatever. And then he said something else. Anyway, it's fine. Anyway, the new is your Ream card in this deck. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, so I've been trusting my gut and it hasn't led me astray. It really hasn't. And I'm just like, what is going on? What is happening? It's fine. Margarita Preciosa, the new pearl. This is grit, irritation, and waiting. The new pearl is one of the great promises of alchemy. From a single grain of sand, the pearl forms slowly but surely in the salty mouth of the oyster. Oh, snap. Well, you know what I gotta do now. Can y'all see my arm? That's my arm. Come on, come on. That's the Mystical Dream Tarot. That's the Enchanted. 1 second. The Mystical Shaman Oracle cards. Oh, goodness. I didn't know this was coming today. I had no clue. Here we go. Well, we'll keep it out just in case we need to find the wind and taming the wind. I gotta look before and after the. Oh my gosh! Look. As soon as oops, there's the oyster right there at the top. Oof. Well, who's behind the oyster? If I can't say who's in front of it, the swan. Okay. Oof. The new pearl looks like a nipple piercing. That's one pretty cool piercing. Okay. Let's keep reading. Oh, this kind of like looks like the Ganunga gap too, a little bit. It's not the complete gap. It's like the bottom half of the Ganunga gap. If it were more isosceles. I think that's isosceles, right? When two sides are the same. Salty mouth of the oyster. The new pearl emerges as an alchemical miracle. a sight unimaginable at the outset. That said, the process is generated from irritation itself, such as the medicine of the new pearl card. The work is underway, but the gem has not yet formed. Don't become petty and hasty, seeking a return on your efforts. Rather, turn to patience, consistency, and humility to remedy the discomfort. Let the magic of time and salt water do its work. Relax, believe, and support a fellow alchemist in finding the grit that will become their pearl. Don't worry about you right now. The entire ocean is your ally. Ooh, this in this book the text is tiny. It's tiny on the side. Ooh, it's teeny. The pearl is made from only one grain of sand, one irritant. Take a moment to thank this irritant for being so consistently challenging, allowing the pearl to begin its formation. Take note if this card appears with the wise salt card or any of the cards associated with the element of water. Let them amplify the message of the new pearl. Well, here's two water cards. The swan. I guess it's timely and it's interesting, especially as I'm talking about the 111 222 333 444 that I saw at work and how work is definitely the salt of my life right now. But even with it being the salt of my life, it's like there are layers to this pearl that where I is sort of like given me. Um, and I can tell you it most definitely was extremely unexpected. Even like getting the job was unexpected because I thought I would be moving. I thought I would be leaving. And then as soon as I was about to get serious about looking for work, like I was like, oh, I'm just gonna upload my resume, or I'm gonna upload my resume to Indeed. Like I didn't even fully flesh out my profile, and then not too long after, I got somebody reached out to me like, hey, there's an opportunity as for a chemist position. And she was like, and it's in my hometown. I was like, oh, what? Like, I didn't expect for there to be an opportunity here. I ended up taking the microbiologist position because I, quote, wanted to challenge myself. And I've been challenged in more ways than I would have wanted. Ooh, but from the challenge, like so much has resulted, I guess. And it's been one expected thing after one expected thing after another. So, anyway. Oh, thanks, Kathy. It's it's like asking us you're high off of Russ's cocoa leaf that he never ate. That's funny. Um a nipple knocker. Okay, sorry. I'm just like catching up. So yeah, this is and I feel like in this so this immediately in some ways makes me think of oh goodness. It makes me think of a sentiment that I've seen expressed in a video that I've already mentioned recently. I don't know why I'm like, I don't want to go all the way into it, but anyway, um, but it's also because of work that I've had the opportunity to see myself in ways that I've never seen myself. And I think that's in large part, it's because like I've been challenged in ways that I would have always run from. Like go back to last November when I'm talking about like how I was triggered in a way that I hadn't been triggered in since like my darkest night. And like since 2019, it's been this steady progression of like facing tower moments, anything I'm afraid of, like facing it, summoning as much bravery and courage as I could to go and face everything that I was avoiding. And so since like 2019, I was pretty consistently good. Like there were moments where things would happen. Um, but when that happened last November, it's like it took me all the way back. Back before like pre healed anything, Patrick, pre taken any steps, Patrick. Like I felt like I was triggered all the way back. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I should just quit. Like I should just run. And it was a good day when I was like, okay, like maybe I could. And my mom was like, if that's what you decide to do, like I support you in that because ultimately, like it's your life. But after thinking about it, I was like, that's what I used to do in the past. And like everything, like literally the reason why I started my healing journey is so that I wouldn't do that anymore. So that I wouldn't just like run from opportunities whenever like they're a little too scary or whatever because that's what drove my life and I didn't like my life. And so it's like because of facing that and facing everything else, of course I've been able to see myself in ways that I wasn't able to see myself before because I'm doing things that I would have never even given myself the opportunity to try to do to see if I would fail or to see if I would be able to adapt. And so I guess here we are. Oof. I guess I'm actually like really grateful for this. All the blood, sweat, and tears I put into that job. Um, if I was actually on Doctor Who, I'd be like, oof. Um, I guess I'm glad for this now. I'm glad for this reminder because it would seem that there are certain opportunities that I'm facing in life right now that I guess if I'm like honest with myself, ain't nobody say Bixby.
I didn't understand that.
Yeah, you didn't understand it because I'm not talking to you. I need to turn Bixby off. Bixby's always like, what? Maybe Bixby, maybe Bixby. Okay, now I'm saying Bixby. Maybe Bixby's just used to like when I'm live, I'm like, hey, Bixby, like, pick a number, flip a coin, do this, do that. And I'm like, I'm not. Bixby's like, you're not using me as much as like Bixby said that it needs to be incorporated more, so I'll keep that in mind. Thank you, Bixby, for being so. Uh, Bixby is one of Russell's favorites. I appreciate it all. Thank you so much. Um, Russell's out there facing his vertigo because I was looking down at some of that stuff. I was like, "Oof, it's in the mountains. In the mountains, it's really high up there." But yeah, I guess it makes it a little easier to accept question mark when I think of what it's taken to get here. So anyway, that was interesting and not at all what this video was supposed to be about. So did I see it? No. But maybe someone else did. This actually it's fine. Well, goodness. I feel like there's a reason why I purposefully did not use the Crow Tarot because I've only used it twice. Both times I used it was for Virgos, and I'm like, ooh, okay. So anyway, let me get back to why I I don't want to like be super hasty and like let me not dig into this, but at the same time we're gonna put these cards away. So this one isn't about this particular topic. But like I said, I do appreciate that as the next season of life. Oof, with the cheetah. Oh gosh. It's like I hope you're ready to go because things are about to speed up. We are coming to that time of year. Y'all see that decent shuffle? Okay, I'm not looking for any flippers. I'm just trying to shuffle these and put them away. Thank you. Earthworm at the bottom of the deck. One flew across a coworker. What? They're invading the work. Did you come out the broom closet? Have orbs infiltrated work because you came out the broom closet? Like, we're here. So anyway, whatever I was saying. The last time it was about the last time wind and taming the wind was about structures that affected how wind moves through an area. But with the Yarna and the Fane, now it becomes about us. These do not want to shuffle. And us sort of our flexibility in how we move with currents or how we resist currents. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're coming out on Halloween. Oh yeah, you did say that. Okay. I forgot. Oof. Well, there you go. Maybe leading up to Halloween, you'll be noticing more and more and more things at work. It's funny because I went for a walk in the cemetery and I was listening to that one after it was live. Um, and the creamy, dreamy butterfly. And then there are a lot of falling leaves right now because, it's that time of year. It's autumn or fall. And there was something that it almost felt like a leaf, but it was a butterfly. And it like flew onto the ground, like literally like this gravelly pathway, not even like in the grass, just like flew onto the ground like a falling leaf, and then it like kind of flew off pretty low to the ground. I was like, okay. And it was like this dusty brown color. I was like, all right, maybe that's like camouflage. It looks like a leaf. So whatever that messes with butterflies doesn't mess with it. Spring there? Oh, yeah, because you're in the southern hemisphere. Okay. These feel good. Oh, I feel like I'm going to regret this. But maybe I won't. We'll see. Oh, okay. Like, let's not go crazy. I'm already nervous. I'm not going to pull the bottom, but we'll get close to it. Oh, 2 cards. Darn it. Oof. I'm scared. Ah! I'm scared to look at the bottom of the deck. Scintillii or scintillii? Scintillii? Sparks of light. Number 46. Oh, we had 44 before. Now we have 46. Okay. Well, who's that? Stevis Antimony. Oh, antimony. That's one of the things in the. Wait. Oh, that is the alchemy of astrology deck. Yeah, antimony. I don't remember what antimony is, but I'm pretty sure antimony's in. Is this a wolf? Is this a cosmic light? Is this a Lafruma wolf with the shards of light, like literally up in the sky? Is that the wolf that waits beyond the veil or whatever? The one that was like, "Are you gonna take it?" yesterday? Oof. Oh goodness! See, that's why I was scared to look at the bottom. Goodness. Okay. Oh gosh. You might go to California in November. Hey, that's exciting. That's exciting. I was thinking about one of the potential pathways that the universe saw fit to blow past my direction was in LA, transferring to LA. And I guess I haven't decided to not do it, but I was like, oh, LA could be pretty cool. Hey, I'll be watching. Hopefully, I'm not at work though. If I'm at work, I probably won't be able to watch. And I feel like I'm always at work these days. Oh, okay. So before it was this like, oh, all right. So I'm pretty sure I shuffled these, but the top and bottom of the deck are basically the same, except for this knowing. I learned to know. So it's not a learning, it's a learning to knowing. Because before it was like stitching things from the void, but they're unseen. So it was like this weird, almost like creating things in dark matter. But since it's dark matter, it's out of phase with everything that we can see, taste, touch, whatever. But it's like it's there, but we can't interact with it. And so we might not necessarily know it's there. So insert faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. But now that this learning to know is at the bottom, oh gosh, we're learning something new about the void or the Gununga gap. Is I'm like, oh gosh, oof. I don't know what readings used to be, but can we go back? I'm like, I'm like, oh goodness, it's fine, it's fine. You'll blow the cards around. Okay, I think that's hilarious. Oh, snap! It's Matthew. Hey, Matt, how you doing? How are you? How are you? Ooh, enjoy the rest of your special day. Hopefully, we see, and the moon is here. I guess hopefully we see you again if you have whatever time, if it works. But yes, enjoy the rest of your day. Is it dark outside now? What time is it? Oh, it's 7:10. Oof. Oof, 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 oof. Oh, okay, yeah. And that was literally, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's when I was talking about the 222, the 333, and the 444. I'm pretty sure. And it was what 927, the last 99. And I was looking for the bridge. That's another thing. So when I was seeing bridges before on that day, they were like left to right. So you didn't see where the bridge was coming from and you didn't see where it was going. Ultimately, you didn't see where the bridge was going. But at work the next day and the day after, when I saw bridges, you could see like the bridge going up to somewhere. And it's funny that Sparks of Light is here because it was in Norway. Let me see if I can let's see if the power of the internet and stock images and everything else will get us to pull up this last picture that I saw. It was Norway Bridge Island Sunrise. Not this one. Not this one. Not this one. I remember it being in Norway. What was the name? I don't remember. Oh, hello? No. And then I'll put like stock image, even though a lot of these were stock images. We'll just see if we can find it really quick. Let's go to images. That might speed it up. Oh, I didn't even spell bridge right. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I had a dream. I had a dream that I was like walking across a bridge. It was like a pedestrian bridge, but it was like wide with my brother. And I remember it was like water on both sides, and there was like a city with lights, and it was like cold and icy. And I was I was trying to take a selfie in the dream. But anyway, because I was like, oh, I'll have my brother like take a picture of me. I was like, no, I'll just take a selfie. But I looked at the environment behind. It's this one. This is the picture that was on the computer. Bridge to Soma what? Bridge to Somaroy and Midnight Sun, Tromso, Norway. This is the picture that was the background. And I was like, oh, like the bridge is going to this island and the sun is like right there in the back. And it's interesting because this is the same. It looks like it's similar to like the first images that popped up, but from a different angle. Let me see if I can't go back and find it. Maybe not. Oh, like this one. It kind of makes me think of this one. But is that in Tromway or whatever? Anyway. That I saw that. But when I was doing cards by cards, it was it Fire, the Moon, and the Sorcerer? I think it was Fire, the Moon, and the Sorcerer. And there was something about the sorcerer being able to pull aspects of the sun from the moon because it was a realization that the moon reflects sunlight. And after that, I think it went up into the smoky mirror. And eventually we reached like the water, and then the bridge was with like the sun came out. It was the sun, the council, and the ghost dance. And after our crown sort of touched the 5D, the after our crown touched the upper world, when we were sort of rising above the middle world, because in the lower world it wasn't possible to see it at all. And in the middle world, that's when we started to get more of an idea of it. And as the sorcerer, it's almost like as the sorcerer pulled upper world information from the middle world, like it elevated her above it, and then like she could see everything, and then the sun was there, and that's when we see the ghosts, like they were actually the council. But in the lower world, because of the curse and because of the coyote, It's like it was impossible to tell. But the moon, Kusma, that's what the sorcerer pulled that light from. And the sparks of light is in the dark anyway. Oof. Okay. Let's just get into it. Am I gonna pull from the top? Yeah, I'll pull from the top. Wicked Craft, Hell. Hey, there's Reem again. 66! What? The first one off the top is number 66. I don't think I've seen a 66 yet. Though I did see 777. I feel like I see all the time, honestly, not gonna lie. I see it on boxes at work. I see it on license plates. Um, 66, 76. Oh. So Wicked Craft, it's giving me sorcery as I'm literally talking about the sorcerer. Sorcery. Okay, good, because that's just what I was about to say. It's giving me that sorcerer vibes, where it's almost like in the middle world, maybe there's this separation between like the sun and the moon. The sorcerer realizes again that the moon reflects sunlight, so you can get solar energy from the moon. And so it's like with that knowledge, again, like learning to know, it feels like it reduces the gap between these two, and that's what leads to this wild ox. And then I use like this metallic sort of color in between. What does that mean? I don't know. But it makes me think of Hod, but without the thing in the middle. Like it's not unseen anymore, or it's not unseeing. I don't know what this is gonna be. Honestly, I kind of want to just quit because it's already been 50 minutes. And we're not I'm like, oh gosh, where is this going? It's funny. We'll just keep going. I'm looking for Yarna and Vane. Oh, and then the original Birthright comes out after that. Okay, sure. We're just gonna keep going until I see either one of those. Oh, well, here's Yarna. So, Yarna is 44. What? So, we got the Cosmic Light Ulcer before Yarna. And then, oh, move. Horse. So, now let's look for Fame. And there's Fane. Okay. We have Leaf Shade. I love the merge on Leaf Shade because that's essentially what Wicked Craft was doing to Hell. It was merging something. And then Earth Grab. And this was Virgo's room today. And I think, no, Yarna came out for Libra. Was Earth Grab? No, was Earth Grab Libra? Yeah, Earth Grab was Libra. Virgo was Flursa. And Yarna came out in for Libra. Okay. Wacken, Originate, and well, who's at the top? Ripen, Mature. And then also at the bottom is Scottmouth. Okay. Oof. I gotta go to the restroom. I've been drinking a lot of water. Oh, yeah. Earth Grab, it might have been in Virgos, but that was like the spread. The spread came out in the shape for of Earth grab for Libra. Virgos came out as Flursa. And then at Burston was the day before. So I'll be back in a second. Y'all can look at this, I guess, in the meantime. All right, I'm back. Thank you to the person that said, "Welcome back." I don't know if anyone said it, but okay. Oh, the cosmic candle came out for Virgo. Gotcha. So, the difference between Vane and Yarna is that if the light comes from above, I guess the whole thing was about the upper world, with the wind and taming the wind, and this is based on following up to the energy of the wind and taming of the wind, which I guess it's interesting. Another thing that's been happening is like the level of not I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. Let me not get too so that came out before everything is a part of everything. It's a part of the message. So anyway, because it was about in the lower world, there's a curse where it's just like there's not a language or an image or like there's nothing to communicate whatever that blade was. And so it couldn't be spoken. Then when you get into the middle world, it's like you start to have like you can form context. You can use context in the middle world to understand it, even if you don't have like an exact translation or even if you don't have an exact word for something. There's at least a context. And in the upper world, like the thing exists, everybody knows it. So you can just say, like, oh, it's an apple. Not that everybody knows an apple, but if you don't know an apple and I'm next to you and I have access to the internet, I can Google a picture of an apple. We actually like there's a whole bag of apples that somebody just brought home. I could show you an apple. You could taste it. You can see if you like it. It's red, right? The red ones are different than the green ones. Apparently, the pigment And something in the green ones helps boost metabolism. I literally just found that out like 2 days ago. Anyway, the thing was, oh, Yarna is unwind here, so it's not entwined. Anyway, we're still gonna go with it, right? Vane is open to something that Yarna is not open to because it comes from the upper world, because it comes from higher, because we reach up to get that nice Lafruma elven light. This energy is open to it. That's the thing about wind. To tame the wind, it's like when we tame the wind, we don't tame the winds like we sort of control a lot of things because we can't control the wind. But we can create devices or we can use the movement that wind produces to do something else. So it's like we use the flowing and the blowing of wind to power or motivate something else. And that's what Vane does. It moves with the wind. So this is going to be a generator for wherever the wind was trying to get us to go, which ultimately culminated in like the sun and the council and coming out of that ghost dance energy. The blade that rends dimensions and worlds in twain or in two, that lets us get to the next place. That's what the wind was trying to do. But the first time it was like there are these structures or these hard set sort of things that affect how wind flows and blows in our lives. Mountains, tall buildings, short buildings, whatever. Wind can't blow through the mountain, so it has to go around it. So now let's just see. Is this going to go over here? I don't know. Oh, well, look at that. Look at that. Oh, this is the pearl. Okay. Well, imagine that. Our new pearl. Oh, there are two over here. Darn it. Mars, Aries, and Splendor Solus, the sun splendor. Oh, look, the sun from the moon. From the moon, with that wicked craft sorcery, you get the sun. But not only you get the splendor of the sun over here. Oof. Not oof in a bad way, just like oof. And then we're talking about sparks of light. It's almost like you get all the light. This is the spark, and then you get the okay. When you're open to it, that's where the wind is again. Like the wind was taking us to the sun, to the council, out of the ghost dance. And the middle is rotatio, rotation with the spider. And that's interesting because I was just talking about a torn rotator cuff. Oh, goodness. Why is this like He Man? I have the power. But look, the pearl, it's in the hand. A pearl in the hand is worth two in the clam or the oyster. Oh, look, there are literally two pearls here. Because that's a pearl. There are literally two pearls in this one card. So this is like pearls galore. I guess because of that, so what? Every time you get a pearl, you get a pearl from the lower world, you get a pearl from the middle world, you get a pearl from the upper world, you get a pearl from the diagonal world, the side world, like the left world, the right world. I almost wish I had a D6 to roll left, right, a star, pull one from Eve's book. So there's something over here. Again, it's like it's interesting that we have this cosmic light coming in, but because of how Yarna is sort of configured, it's not open to receiving this cosmic light. And because of that, it's almost like instead of light being all of the positive sunshine, rainbow, sparkle attributes that it could be for the Yarna, it's actually like it's almost destructive because it can't. It's not that it just like it doesn't take it in. Light becomes the irritant. Light is the salt for Yarna. It's only open to the lower world, and it moves in that way. And that was another thing that came out at some point in the wind and the timing of the wind. It's like we can remedy the um, pain, and we can heal, salve, balm, remedy, whatever. But as people, it's like we have to still like learn to break habits and patterns and routines, especially if it's established. So it's like the root cause, the root issue could be fixed, but once we're in a routine and once we found a way to sort of do things, we kind of sort of just fall into it. So there's a relearning that has to happen. I think there's, because of originate and mature. Oh my gosh, we had the Ganunga gap, right? Now, like, this is a Ganunga gap of light. Wait, who? I do. I need some left, right, center, star, circle. That's- it's like it's important for us to start where we were. It's also like I'm just now noticing all of this rotatio, and then like around the sun, outside of like the sun and the sky, there's this same sort of rotatio energy, the rotation here as well. And I guess that's the thing about the sun. It's like no matter which side of the sun you see, it's always light. The moon doesn't necessarily do the same. I think it's also interesting that I guess because of how I placed the cards or how the cards came out, we have this sort of like down here, but up here we get the rune for the moon, but over here we get this alchemized sun splendor of the sun energy. So again, it's like not only is it the sun, but it's us knowing how to work with that solar energy in a way, and that's what this was all about, right? Because we started with needle. Well, first it was needle and the void before I went live, but then at the bottom of the deck it was needle. At the top of the deck it was the void. Then after I went live and I looked, it was that learning to know with the needle and the void. So learning how to pull on those void energies to actually create anything, everything. Oh, let me clip this. Thank you, Matthew. I will listen to that after this is over. Whereas under the moon, like we just didn't know. Again, with the energy of learning to know, it's something practiced. And it's like you get a download and you get another download and you keep working at it and eventually you get there. Again, with the originate and the mature, like this is where we start. This is what we mature into. So that's why this, it's not like an either or. And as we get more and more and more pearls, we sort of open up more. Or as we get more and more pearls, we just sort of like if it's a pearl of wisdom that we get, right? We just become wiser. And as we become wiser, maybe we learn to look at things in a different way. It reads for me, it reads as like a shadowy King of Swords energy versus a King of Swords in its light. For me, King of Swords in its light understands the King of Swords in its light knows when there are things that it does not know. It knows when there are things that cannot be logically reasoned, rationalized, or explained. And so the King of Swords in its light would trust the Oracle, the psychic, the person connected to the High Priestess, right? The King of Swords in its light will trust the High Priestess. Not only trust the High Priestess, the King of Swords in its light will seek out the High Priestess. A King of Swords in its shadow can almost be a little hierophantic, where it's like there's only like that's that like cold logical reasoning analytical. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't trust it. It doesn't seek anything outside of what has already been proven. And so because of that, there are things that that King of Swords will never know, even though the King of Swords is supposed to be the most knowledgeable. It's almost like it in its steadfast holding on to everything that it already knows or anything that can be proven, there's so much knowledge and information that it keeps itself from. And so, in a way, it's like it keeps itself from becoming more of who it is. It limits itself, basically. And it's interesting that Mars is coming out with all of the sun splendor because it feels like Mars is the planet that Mars and Saturn, it seems like, are the two planets that just get like pooped on the most. It's almost like Mars and Saturn have nothing positive or beneficial to offer, where Venus and Jupiter only have positive and beneficial things to offer. And I love that. I don't love because I don't love this energy, but the ulcer is right here. This is Jupiter. This is Venus. Looks like there's this song. It's I think it's like will become silhouettes or something like that. I can get it for you really quick. And I listen to that song all the time. The first time I heard it, I was in this like book slash metaphysical slash clothing slash jewelry store on campus, and it was on the radio. I was like, "Oh, I like this song. What is this?" But I like I've heard it before, but it wasn't until like Thursday that I was really listening to the lyrics. Um, yeah, we will become silhouettes. We will become silhouettes. And I guess I don't want to get all the way into it because I'm not trying to trigger anybody because I know it's sensitive. But like when there is growth that is unchecked, it causes problems. And in the song, they're like, the air outside will make our cells divide at an alarming rate until our shells simply cannot hold and all our insides, until our shells simply cannot hold all our insides in. And that's when we'll explode and we'll become silhouettes when our bodies finally go. Um, anyway, it sounds kind of morbid, I guess, but it's interesting. You recorded a Leo reading with three kings in it today, and the King of Swords wasn't the winner. Oof. Didn't that happen like that one time you recorded Pisces and you're like, Patrick, help me? Anyway. Um, yeah, and I think it's one of the things that it's almost done a lot of us a disservice more so than it has been of true benefit. It's the ease of access of like everything and how we've gotten so far into the need and demand for instant gratification that some of us, I don't want to say some of us don't know how to work because I think a lot of us know how to work, but it's almost like it's putting in the work that matters where it matters, when it matters. And it's like, unfortunately, sometimes it's like the areas where the work is needed the most, it's where the work is the most difficult. And so that's how we can fall prey to, I'll say, like a lower world. Let's stay with lower, middle, upper world. That's when we can sort of fall prey to lower world energies, because it's almost like we seek more for less work. And that's not bad in and of itself. But when we form a dependency on that and when we become incapable of doing that difficult, challenging work, when we always sort of seek the thing that is easier, then there are things within us that never get the chance to expand and mature like the rest of us. And that unchecked growth is what becomes this ulcer. That's when Jupiter and Venus actually do a lot less for us than they do for us. But, we always want that good, feel good, expansion, expansion, grow, 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 stuff, 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 abundance, abundance. And so then, like, Mars and Saturn become the villains. And it's funny because there's a lot of like people who will be like, "Oh, young people don't know like the value of a dollar," or young people are just so used to like getting handed everything, they don't know the value of work or the like work ethics or whatever. And like one of the things that kind of sort of gets me with some older people who talk about younger people, it's like, well, y'all were the ones who like raised the parents, and the parents are the ones who raised the children. So, in what part of any of this do you take responsibility? That's another thing in general that people just sort of kind of don't do, is take responsibility for what how they participated in the creation of the problem. No one's ever at fault, no one's ever to blame. And it's not about who is wrong or who is truly to blame. It's about when are we going to do something within our own lives to make a change and to make a difference. Because once you start moving, it's almost like in Reem's Taurus reading when she was talking about the Taurus who, like, because Taurus brought themselves back to love, Taurus can now help other people return to love. It's like when we do those things for us, then now all of a sudden we have the language to understand the truth of what that blade was. Like, that's the lower world. As you work more and more and more, it's a very like Eight of Pentacles type of energy. And that was the thing. It was something about capacity. We expand our capacity to receive, and we expand our capacity to know. And then as our capacity is expanded, we're filled, it's met. We get more. So this is a very like taking the reins into your own hands sort of energy here. And with this 44, like 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 for me, it can be a trap. It's infinity. You wake up, everything is the same. It's like no matter how far ahead you move or how far back you fall, everything kind of sort of balances out. This is 2 4s. It's like neither side, like there's so much stability that's found here. And it's not even stability. Oh my gosh, 44, 44. I didn't even catch, what? What? Like there's so much stability here. Nothing changes, nothing moves. Even though we have movement right here, because of that energy of that 8 with all of this 4 4 4 4 4, nothing changes. And then again, 5 becomes one of these numbers that's like a villain in numerology because of the change that it represents. And like these are like very like loose sort of statements. Um, right. But it's like in a world where drive and work and dedication and determination and change are the villains, when those are the difficult, challenging energies that nobody wants, like it's not like who benefits. I guess it is a question of who benefits. Who benefits from a world where we're all just like reaching out to something or someone else to fulfill something for us? Who benefits in a world where no one takes the initiative themselves? And if we do take initiative, it's to go on the beaten path to surefire success, to do it the way that everyone has always done it, or to copy and emulate someone else. Like the world grays, it turns bland, all of the colors are drained. But that seed is always there, it never dies. That creativity, that's what we return to. So, the one good thing about that sort of lower world energy is that eventually it leads us back to ourselves. And that's the middle world. That's when we sort of like, it's the hermit. That's when we hermit and we discover, we excavate, we open up. And then because we do that within ourselves, it's very like, it's like a sodium potassium pump almost in a way. It's like, I don't remember which is which, but as we load up on the inside, once we click, 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 and it opens up, it releases those to the outside. And as it releases those to the outside, something else comes in, click, 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 and it switches confirmation to allow that to flow into the inside. And that sodium potassium pump, that's the as above, so below. That's when we sort of, that's when the eight isn't a trap, right? Because that's an internal external flow. That's like the internal doesn't stagnate, the external doesn't stagnate. But if you're only open to yourself, or if you're only open to the outside, one of those areas is going to suffer. And we pretty much like name an industry. We pretty much live in a world and society where we're all like, I don't want to, like, we're brought up to suffer in some way so somebody can sell us something somewhere. And again, like, it's difficult. It's not necessarily easy, but I don't know. Like, it makes me think of Kali and how, like, she's been demonized and stuff like that. But it's like, if Kali was literally born and created to essentially or figuratively remove like a toxic masculine energy, or to remove energies that just proliferate and proliferate and proliferate that are harmful, and like she's made the villain, who benefits from that? You know what I mean? Anyway, I don't know. It's not that I don't know, but like maturation is literally what opens this up to this side. And it's a whole process. Again, like it's 50, which is a five. So, but this is like, it's how we get where we're going. And like, even look at these two. Because like this imagery is very similar up top right here, but all of the sun splendor, all of the like the blossoming flowers and everything else, it doesn't exist here. And maybe we've gotten really really good at like forming pearls, but again we have to open up, right? So we don't have to kill the clam, because the clam doesn't want the pearl in its mouth any more than we want the pearl in its mouth. The clam didn't even want the sand in its mouth that made it create the pearl. And if we could encourage clams to open rather than break them open, maybe there'd be more pearls in the world. But if there were more pearls in the world, then the price of pearls would go down and the whole pearl industry would crumble, and it's all about a dollar. So we can't allow that either. You see how we get stuck in the trap of those eights a lot of times. But like this energy over here is so gorgeous. So gorgeous. And like this is ultimately where we're going with the sparks of light. Like this is what we're going to be. I feel like that's the motivation behind a lot of like awakenings and realizations and things like that. And so it's going to cause us to question and look at things that maybe we never necessarily questioned or looked at. Yeah, we are. And like the serpent and Reem's Taurus reading, like that energy is here as well. Like she literally just talked about it. And that's this. That's the sodium potassium pump. Somebody was just eating a banana and they were like, I need potassium. I think it was at work yesterday. Bananas are yellow. This card is yellow. It's solar plexus. Solar plexus is what? Mars. Boom. But the solar plexus is also associated with sustenance. So it's not just about like doing stuff, it's not just about action. We have to put into our bodies, we have to put into our systems the fuel that will allow us to do what we want to do. You know what I mean? Energetically and otherwise. So it's almost like feels like this is happening. Like this earth grab is like a straw, and it brings this pearl from the lower world centric whatever up. And Reem literally, I feel like she just talked about that too, with the different colors, the chakras being revamped or whatever. But it feels like this pearl like comes up, and now it's like up here, and maybe the pearl is a seed, you know. Now it's open to the environment, waiting to be germinated so that a flower can blossom here. You don't get any flowers when you don't open up, right? I'll read this rotatio though. Oh, wait, no, I won't. Because the rotatio rotation, that's literally turning this into this. Now it's open. Now it can bloom. Now it can do all of, now it can like receive this cosmic light and it won't cause this ulcerous energy. It's like like somebody, was that Reem again? I think it was Reem again with the whole psychosomatic whatever. And it's almost like the psyche, the spirit hasn't evolved to the point to allow the body to expand in the way that it's expanding. And I think in one of, it might have been in Libra, it might have been in Virgo. I think it was in Libra. Russ had said something about like the biome or the body sort of, yeah, it was in Libra because it was about like the physical body sort of expanding in a way to allow an increase in that the consciousness of joy question mark. I was like listening to it as I was doing other things. So but it's like that's what sort of like happens. Or that's this part. Or a part, you know what I mean? And then with this merging here, the merging feels like that's like the germination of the seed. So it's, since we're talking about alchemy, it's almost like it's transmuted and alchemized in a way from this. This is like it culminates in the high priestess. Again, it's like every step of this process is important. This journey for whoever may go on it, like every step of this journey is important because that's what happened in the Legends Tarot. We started with the person in, I think it was strength. I think that was a strength 11 deck. So we started with strength with like the elf fairy lady, whoever, riding that Pegasus, the dark Pegasus. And then maybe it was the Knight of Wands that came out, which was the lady walking beside the unicorn. And then in the high priestess, it was like it went through the whole like darker sort of phase and went through the whole light phase. Now in the high priestess, things can come together. That's this merging. This is a seed that has like it's been open or exposed to both. Now it can receive this light in its fullness. It can receive all aspects of light, including the ones that can singe or burn, including the absence of light. And so like there's this merging between like the lower and the higher. And then there's this merging between the seed and this cosmic light that causes this blossoming. Earth Grap also, no, it was Earth Mason that came out. Earth Mason was the seed, but it's like that's what Earth has the potential for, but it's almost like it's a potential that's rarely realized because of the resistance in this maturation process or wherever the resistance exists. And again, like this movement when in the lower world where it's blind, that's the eddy. That's when the wind can't get the thing where it needs to get it because there's always a mountain or there's always a building or there's always a whatever that gets in the way. Oof. Hey David, how are you doing? I should roll a d8. Hopefully you can catch a break. Hopefully, I hope you catch your break ASAP. I hope the same for me. Oh, I need a break. I need a break. I need a break. And it's so funny because I don't know if y'all know, like Beyonce's, like "You Won't Break My Soul." I don't know. I think I was singing that before a meeting that I had, and it turned into a very long work day. And I was just like, "Is that a crack?" I was like, no, I was like, I'm not gonna be broken by this, but I don't like it. Now, did Patrick not like it enough to have that conversation that he know he's been meaning to have for some time now? No. Like I ain't got to figure it out either. I mean, I feel like I just need to like do. I need some a little bit more of this Mars in me. I'm like, but or I could just like write it out. I could write it out until it doesn't even matter anymore, and until it's behind me, and then whatever. And it's like you could, but how about you mature? I'm like, oh, fine, whatever. Am I gonna read any of these? Oh, Bixby, Bixby, here is your moment. One, two, three, four. Even though we already read one. One, two, one, two. Oh wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we'll keep the original numbering. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because this is literally number 5. Hi, Bixby. Choose a number between 1 and 5.
Running some quick calculations. Drum roll, please. Your number is 5.
So Mars. Mars is about to retrograde, right? Let's see what Kim wrote about Mars. Aries and Mars. Aries Greek, Mars Roman. Will, vigor, and activism. With Mars by our side, we can assert ourselves in the world. Oh, with that Mars by our side, we can assert ourselves in the world. When I used the fortune telling cards and there was the bear and whatever. And it's like whatever the bear asserts is what's going to come to pass. That's what's going to come to be. When we mature in this process, we can assert all of the splendor in the sun, regardless of whatever is happening. Like, regardless of the sand or the salt, we can assert the pearl. Our presence is felt and our voice is heard. Like a flame, Mars rises upward and helps us stand strong for what we believe in. Social justice movements are a great example of Mars's energy in action. With clarity of purpose, Mars leads us to peaceful change, the upholding of human rights, and representing the unrepresented. When Mars appears in a reading, there is strength and vigor required to face the challenges ahead. It may take the form of speaking your truth, getting yourself out of a harmful relationship or job, or getting involved in activist work. As alchemists, we must be very precise with our dosage of Mars, as in uncontrolled amounts, it leads to outbursts and violence. Mars is most potent when paired with ahimsa, nonviolence. The metal of Mars is iron. Oh, where is it at? These were at the top of the deck. They weren't too far in. Boom, boom, boom. There it is. The metal of Mars is iron. Mars, the wild ox. That can't be tamed anyway. Sorry. The metal of Mars is iron. To rule with an iron fist illustrates their pairing. If these two cards appear together, you may be doing just that. And Mars may express itself through nightmares or distraught. Dreams make sure to utilize creativity when the planet is at work. Draw and dream journal as much as possible. I kind of want to pull, I am going to pull Before and After Thunder. Who said they needed some more Mars? Did I say that? I did. I did catch that as I was reading it. Trust me, there were plenty of internal oofs. I was like, oof. And like the thing that the most, like, I feel like for me, there have been so many like nonsensical situations. Like, I'm like, I need to speak my truth to somebody, but I don't know how they'll take it. Literally, as the person is showing me that they'll take it pretty well. Like, there were conversations I was like dreading having with like my new boss, not my old boss, my boss now. And I'm like, oh, but like I'm so nervous, blah blah blah. I'm like, she's like so cool. After I have those conversations, I'm like, I don't even know why I was nervous. Like, even before I had those conversations, like I was talking to my journey buddy, I was like, I don't even know why I'm nervous. Like, I know it's not gonna go poorly because she's not the type of person that like won't listen or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't even remember who I'm looking for. Who am I looking for? Thunder, the bison, the buffalo. That's what I'm looking for. Just curious. Ooh. Is this going to be at the top of the deck? The elk, the buffalo, the dragonfly, the wolf is at the top of the deck. Love that. Because of the thunder in here, the elk and the dragonfly. This makes me think of an eclipse. This makes me think of this. The void can give us, like Ganunga Gap can give us like the void black hole, or it can give us these sparks of light. Ultimately, because of the laws of physics and because of the side of the black hole that we live on, we view the void and the Ganunga Gap as dark. Again, it makes me think of that. I know I was using the magic cards, but it was like, I think Scorpio. Last time I ran through the zodiac, I think Scorpio kind of sort of came out with this energy too. But it's like when you go into the abyss and you're surprised to find light. It's like that's what's down there. And just like abstractly, right? Whenever you delve and dive into something unknown and unfamiliar, you become familiar with it. It becomes less dark. Understanding increases. Like that's how we sort of get understanding in a way, by sort of finding out. Use your discernment. Use your discernment and wisdom. But there's something to be found, there's something to be gained there with this dragonfly. Dragonfly is like ancient forgotten knowledge. I literally I just looked at the cosmic egg too as I glanced over to read your comment. Yeah. I'm like, see the horns on the elk make me think of like knowledge, wisdom that come from like years of experience or a time of experience. But dragonfly wisdom is even older. And it feels like there's this, I guess it reads as Akashic, or it almost feels like it reads like Akashic, but it doesn't feel Akashic, if that makes sense. Like if I were to just look at it, I feel like I'd be like, oh yeah, like there's this Akashic energy, but in reality, it doesn't feel that way. Maybe that's just that aspect of oneness where as we connect or as we get closer and closer to the source, like its omniscience rubs off on us. And so we just come to know things. Your intuition gets sharper or deeper or whatever, it expands. Um, but it feels like it's beyond that still. And it feels like it's a space that Dragonfly holds open. Because when the pearl came out before, it came out with that water, right? The oyster was next to the swan. And although the dragonfly is air, we can see the water right here, literally with the alchemical symbol for water. There's a symbol for air. Like it's like earth, but if you take the line out of it, it's water, right? This is water. This is fire. That's temperance. When the fire gets us to water. And fire is getting us to water in the element of air, which means like it's a sextiling energy. Fire planets are fire signs, sextile air signs. And sextiles are opportunities. So it's not necessarily going to be given to us, but it's definitely possible. Oh, the octopus. Okay. Oof. I don't know what I expected. Maybe I should like. Oh yeah, antimony. I'll read antimony because of that. Oh look, see. Oh, that's air. Oh, autumn. Autumnus. Oh my gosh, it's autumn right now. Look at all these pearls. Look at all these. You see that? Look at all these pearls in the autumn. The deck is like literally now is the time. Now is literally the time. But it's in reverse for me. But even though it's in reverse, this number is the same because it's palindromic. XIX, that's 19. That's the sun. So again, that sun solar energy is coming out where the moon is here, but you have to like extract it from the moon. And like there are areas of our life where it's sun, sun, sun. There are areas of our life where it's like it's the moon and it might be new and it might be full. Maybe it's a perpetual full moon in some areas and it's a perpetual new moon in others, or like a waxing, waning crescent, right? Maybe we ain't necessarily into like a quarter, like first quarter or third quarter. Maybe we ain't necessarily gibbous. You know what I mean? It's like a little bit of light. And it's not that we're supposed to know everything, but when we continuously avoid the things that we continuously avoid, light never comes to those areas. Growth, expansion, maturation never happens because we don't give ourselves the opportunity to mature in those ways. And that's how we do ourselves a disservice, even though, you know, we're only trying to do what's best for us, and we don't want to hurt ourselves or put ourselves in situations where there's duress or stress or whatever, and that's completely understandable. Like, who would want to, right? But again, it's like if there are things that we really want, sometimes we gotta put in the Mars to get it. I mean, like Mars and Saturn, like I would imagine, in Patrick's world, Mars and Saturn work great together because Saturn gives Mars like the framework to. It's almost like if you're the type, like if you're a super creative person, and maybe not every super creative person is like this, but like if you're a super creative person, but like if you're not given a prompt, then it's like your brain slash mind just like wanders and wanders and wanders. So you can't necessarily finish anything, but you'll start like a million different things. And as soon as you start to like flesh it out a little bit, you're already on to the next thing. Saturn is like the prompt. Saturn is like a framework. So it doesn't have to limit your creativity, but it'll help you focus in a particular direction so you can actually produce slash make slash get closer to finishing something. And like for me personally, I can be like that. That's why I never liked open-ended essay. It's like just write a paper. I'm like a paper about what? Like I can think of a million different things to write a paper about. And as I'm writing this one paper, it's gonna become another paper, and that paper is gonna become another paper. If you ever see me read cards, how we just like, oh, let's go on this tangent and then that tangent and another tangent, and eventually, maybe if I remember, we'll bring it all together. Some of those are meant to be open because that's where your intuition, guidance, your experience, and spiritual expansion come in. It unfolds for you in the way that it unfolds for you. And then after the reading, I'll be like, oh, like this connected and that connected and like this other thing. Like it'll unfold for me too. But it isn't necessarily for me to sort of say everything in this space because we're not all going to have the same journey. And if there's more than one person watching this, then, you know, maybe you're going to reach different points. And it's funny that it came back to my mind earlier today. Pisces paragraph, I didn't catch up. You were just thinking about that this morning. Yeah, so like Saturn can give Mars a framework, and it doesn't have to be like this super restrictive thing. But I think that's another thing. It's almost like we're so, it's like it can be easy to be so averse to like restriction that we almost like avoid responsibility altogether. Like with great power comes great responsibility. To be given some things in life, you're going to have to prove yourself responsible first. Some things, not everything, and not every experience is the same. But it's like, you know, it's like you wouldn't give a child whatever you wouldn't give to a child. Sugar, maybe I could be a little sweeter. Circ. I'm just playing. I am curious about this antimony though. Antimony is number 27. Number 27. Was that not our? That was Unseeing. That was Hot. Because I was like, I'm pretty sure it was number 27. That's what was behind the Ganunga Gap. And when Hot was behind the Ganunga Gap, it was like, hey, stitch the void. Go into the void and get something great. And you're like, but it's pitch black in the void. Like, the void is literally the void. How do I get anything from the void? We learned that matter can't be created or destroyed. Well, fun fact, I saw an article not too long ago. Scientists have created something from nothing. I don't know. Anyway, let's just let's confirm that it's number 27. I should have just kept going from the top. Oh wait, no. 72. That was the mirror of the mirror of not see. The mirror of unseen and unseeing was learning to know. Interesting, isn't it? It also makes me think of, is it Tamiel or Tamriel Angel? Yep, it is number 27. 27, 27. Unseeing, as we're in this void space with the glassy Ganunga Gap and this wolf that we can't see, but we know it's there because of the light. Light is the absence of darkness. Darkness is the absence of light. Well, we live on a side of the black hole where darkness is the absence of light, just like heat. Cold is the absence of heat. Light is, heat is, darkness and cold just isn't. But it's like, what if light is and dark also is? What if heat is and cold is? That completely changes that dynamic and relationship. It's a paradox that might be hard to fathom, but trust the paradox is what came out recently when I was using the Threads of Fate Oracle cards. I remember 27 Stibis Antimony. This is wildness, fierceness, and hunger. In medieval times, antimony became known as the Grey Wolf of alchemy. This was due to the metalloid's unpredictable qualities and its ability to eat away at materials in the laboratory. Gold is one of the few materials to withstand contact with it. For these reasons, this card must be read with delicacy. On one hand, it represents the wild and free spirit that longs to express itself in the world. On the other hand, it represents a fierceness that can turn destructive or corrosive at the drop of a hat. The message here is clear. Channel the Grey Wolf's energy toward creativity. Channel the Grey Wolf's energy toward creativity sounds like a little Saturn assistance for Mars to me. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Challenge it to come out from the shadows and express itself. Come out from the shadows and express itself. Embark on the creative project or adventure that's calling you, rather than focusing on why you can't. Once you begin, don't quit. The Grey Wolf responds to respect and repression. And that's literally what the wolf was coming out and saying when the wolf came out in the Archeo Beyond the Veil. And then the other card, the what was it, the Duende or whatever, was like it's the balance of that primal ferocity and higher intellect. It's the merging of the two to create a more whole being. I mean, I feel like an alchemist worth their salt or their sand. Anyway, let me stop. I'm sorry. That's a whole, let's reel it in. And then there's an eagle for you. The eagle, we'll just say the eagle and the horse because the horse movement is right here. Movement with a higher perspective with the horse and the eagle, right? This is movement, but open up to the upper world instead of just like staring at the ground. Movement. So, oof. Melty face? Wait, what's happening? Oh, glad to hear it, Kathy. So you're attracted to the isn't Hot is 27C. Thank you. It's the cards, y'all. It's the cards and synchronicity. Synchronicity has been so wild. Panther. Oh, it's the Panther. When it said bringing it out from the dark, bringing it out from the shadows. I know it's a lot of easier said than done, but you know, it's time to do. I feel like it's fine. Wait, what's Mars and Gemini? No, was it Mars and Cancer? I don't remember. I think it was Mars and Cancer. Oop. Okay. All right, all right, all right, all right. Now we'll get final cards. Oh my gosh, it's been 2 hours. This was just supposed to be. Thank you again, Steph, for the gift. I was super, super, super nervous to put this card on my wish list, or to put this deck on my wish list. I've been avoiding the alchemy deck. Like I said, like I love Kim Crayons, but as soon as it said alchemy, I was like, oof. I was like, oof. I was like, oof. Sorry. But it was very oof. But it ain't bad. I can get down with this. Neptunus, Neptune. Okay. There's our water. Oh, look at the sun splendor again. Oh, wait. Who was that? Who was that? What was that? Is there a title card in here? Oh, what is that? Oh. Oh my gosh, I would have lost Hod. I would have lost Hod. Hod is like, I see it. I just don't know how to communicate it. But that was the thing. That's why it reminded me of Tamriel or Tamiel, the angel of what is it? The angel of the unseen. I think it's the angel of the unseen, Tamiel. Um, and it's like people assume that because Tamiel was blind, that Tamiel couldn't see, but it's like no, Tamiel has all sight, right? And like they know that Tamiel knows where things is because in all of Tamiel's workings and rituals, like Tamiel never like a disaster never happened, but knowing that Tamiel was blind, they were like, "Ooh, that knife! Ooh, oh my gosh!" That's like Tamiel ain't never cut nothing or nobody before. Why would Tamiel start now? Anyway. Poor Baldur. He had what's coming to him. I'm just kidding. Um, but I mean, in some ways, you have to look at. Okay, that was immediate. I am a microbiologist, technically. I almost got hired to be a chemist. I interviewed for the chemist position, but they were like, "Oh, like you're a biological engineer, so you also have like experience in microbiology and stuff. You could do that. Like you also qualify for that." I was like, "Oh, I want to challenge myself, so let me go with microbiome." And look at what that challenge got me: being the only micro person, while there are still several chemists. I'm just kidding, but I wouldn't have to be the only person if I did. Anyway. I said salt of my life. I meant sand, but can you tell I'm still a little salty? I said what I meant, even if it was unintentional. But I know a little bit about chemistry. Ooh, vinegar, acetum or acetum. I love acetum. 34. 34 is a 7. Look, we got four more pearls. Four pearls, but they're separated by this symbol. They're not just all on the ground for anybody to take like autumnus. No. So bioengineering, it's basically like anything involving life. Well, I guess it could be if you go further into it, and depending on the application. So my specific concentration was in pharmaceutical process engineering because I wanted to like make medicines and I wanted to heal people in a modernly acceptable way. I wanted to be like a healer that wouldn't have to dive too deep into like esoterics and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I wanted to be a healer, but like not be burned at the stake. So I was like, oh, medicine. But there was also like a food track. You can get more into like there was also like cellular, molecular, where you get into like other stuff. So from food to medicine to anything that goes in a living person or that could be around a living person. So the field itself is like relatively new. And it's very expansive. So like our classes, we took everything. I did like controls. I had a few like food classes where it's like the thermodynamics of food as you're freezing it or heating it, um, like coding along with the controls. I did like pharmacy classes. I took a few of those, biochem stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of biochem. So oh snap, is it really? Well, well, well. As I approach this unknown chapter of my life, suddenly a Kathy appeared. I'm kidding. Life has been just so. I feel like literally the last year of my life was like, I didn't expect this, but here I am. And boy, am I not entirely um, angry that I'm here. It's just a lot of like, what? What? So, Akatum, vinegar, acidity, distillation, memory. The tongue knows vinegar. Even the suggestion of receiving a few drops into the mouth reminds us of vinegar's sour and lip puckering qualities. In alchemy, vinegar serves as an active agent of distillation, not a passive agent, an active agent of distillation, fermentation, and preservation. It is incredibly useful when applied in the right amounts and with intention. This is Mars again. Antimony had that Martian energy, like right amount, right intention. If you overdo it, it can be disastrous. But in the proper qualities and quantities, it's necessary. When applied in the right amounts and intentions. This said, it can be easily overused, overwhelming the situation at hand. When the vinegar card is present in a reading, it indicates a sour note permeates the laboratory. Indicates a sour note permeates the laboratory, yeah. It is likely something from the past is showing up in the present and demanding our attention. It is in vinegar's nature to take over, to overwhelm. Be cautious with this material. A little goes a long way. As they say, it is productive to look at your past, but not to stare. Such is the complex energy of vinegar. A little goes a long way. I love a little goes a long way because I feel like whenever it comes to change or transformation, or whenever it comes to facing and dealing with things that we'd rather not, I think it's almost like it's that a little bit goes a long way. And whenever we're not in an energy of like instant gratification, whenever we remember or realize that processes take time, it's like we don't have to do everything all at once. Like no one's asking for wake up tomorrow and be completely different. Like that's not an expectation because it's not necessarily humanly possible. Some people may be sure, yeah, go completely cold turkey and be a whole new person tomorrow. For some people, that like it works for them. For some people, it doesn't. But that little bit goes a long way. It's like step by step by step by step, and give yourself grace along the way. Like you don't have to be like, oh my gosh, I'm not already 10,000 steps ahead, or oh my gosh, I didn't do whatever today, or for the past week, or for the past month, or year, or decade. But like it's a process. So as long as you eventually get back on it, you're all like you always are where you're meant to be. But here's hoping you can get where you want to be. Oof, the Ouroboros, the Great Serpent. This is 45. So we got 34 and 45. It's giving me like 13, 14, 14, 15, 15, 16 energy. Oh, look, I opened right to the page. If you've seen the Taurus reading, you know. Ouroboros, the Great Serpent, the Tail Eater, the Guardian and Quantum Realm. Oof. Y'all see that the Quantum Realm? Welcome to the Quantum Realm. Okay. Let's go, Ouroboros. Are there like pearls in every card in this deck? Let's see. Nope, no pearl. Okay. The Ouroboros is the all encompassing glyph of the alchemical process. The hungry snake, hunger. Was that antimony? 27. Hunger. Okay. The hungry snake bends itself around you in a gesture of protection and guardianship, giving you the space and safety to participate in the work. Giving you the space and safety to participate in the work. Anything and everything can be offered into its mouth for transformation. Good, bad, blasphemous, or precious. The materials of our life transmutate into gems along the great serpent's spine. Along with your woes, the Ouroboros engulfs every pair of opposites. What is masculine, excuse me, what is masculine becomes feminine. What is sky becomes earth. The earth of the elk becomes the air of the dragonfly. I did notice that. I didn't mention it. I was like, oh, this is a air and earth opposite. Anyway. The Ouroboros engulfs every pair of opposites. What is masculine becomes feminine. What is sky becomes earth. What is past? The past of the vinegar becomes future. When this card appears, you have entered the quantum realm. Everything is a possibility. No one knows the limits of the Ouroboros. Just when you fell into thinking that your life was straightening out, the snake takes you once again into its gaping mouth for an entirely new trajectory. See that unexpected, like when you think that one thing, or when you think you won't find whatever, wherever. Hello, where did that come from? I didn't know my finger was so greasy. It was just like this line of finger grease, finger oil. Oh, is it on this card too? Mortifactio? Anyway. Anyway. Look at that. I feel like there was something in there that I really liked. Maybe that was just like anything can become anything. Coagulation. Thank you again, Steph, for gifting me this deck that I was scared to get. Thank you, E, for unboxing it live on Everlong Mystic. That made me afraid to get it. I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. Your phone was ringing, but took your headphones off and realized someone was watching Halloween. Oh, the theme is your ringtone. Nice. Someone's calling, Eve, and it's you. Will you pick up? I'm kidding. These were fun. I didn't have to be as scared as I thought. I mean, I still don't know if I'm going to use them all the time because they seem kind of like, oof. But honestly, everything right now was seeming a little oof. I don't even know if I have any safe decks. Let's get the last one of these with the HUD that almost ran away. Yes, Evening Skies Reflections. Steph, thank you so much. Check her out. from the Twittyversing herself. Are you still Twittyversing? Or did you change it? I feel like you changed it. Maybe not. Oh, that's way too much. Oh, gosh. You have a bunny deck? Oh, that's cute. Now I'm scared of the bunnies. If bunnies aren't safe, then nothing is. Bunny deck is like, you need to get your life together. Stop moping around. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I think this is man. Just no. Oh, it's win. Okay. Bliss and comfort. All right. You know what I love about this bliss and comfort? It's the number 8. This is a non-trap 8. Well, oof. And then the thorn pearls. I was gonna say it's a non-trap 8, but if we get stuck in, it's like follow your bliss, yes. But if we can't face difficult situations because we're continuously chasing comfort, and then we get stuck in our comfort zone, and then we start to stagnate in our comfort zone, that's when it can kind of sort of become a problem. Or maybe not, right? Use your own intuition and stuff like that, your own guidance. These two actually came out together before. And it was like if you're looking at the portal like this and you can't even see, like if you can't even see the entirety of the portal, you might think it's just this win. You might think you're going for the win, and then you get an L. And you're like, what? This was not supposed to be like this. This was not supposed to happen. Where's the bliss? And then, someone in the Elven collective is like, the bliss is at the end of the journey. You have taken but the first step. And then you're like, how many steps are there? And they won't say. They won't tell you how many steps there are, because it's like, if you knew how many steps there were, maybe you wouldn't do it. And so they just kind of sort of got to bait you into taking another step and another step and another step and another step. And eventually maybe you get to that point where you're like, oh, that wasn't as many steps as I thought it was, after you come out of it. But in the moment, you're like, oh my gosh, is this ever going to end? The answer may shock you. Sounds like awakening. Twittyversing! Hey, she's still here. Okay. I was like, I couldn't remember if you had changed the name for some reason or not. I was like, did the name change? Are you still Twittyversing? Let's see if I can do this. I'm going to be brave. Hey, let's go. Oh, the bear. Okay. The last and final animal. I love when that works out. And cards don't just go flying everywhere. Or I don't, super bend the cards. This is hilarious. The reason why this is hilarious is because this card came out in Ream's Taurus reading. And anything you give the Ouroboros, it can transmute. But you have to give it to the Ouroboros. Right? If you just hold on to it, or at least incubate the egg, right? You got to put your butt on it, but don't smash it. Don't put too much. This is Mars. This is literally Mars. You got to put your butt on the egg to thaw it, to incubate it, to warm it. But if you put too much pressure on it, it'll crack. And I don't think anyone wants to be traumatized by cracking their own egg under their butt. It's risky business. But it's worth it. I mean, it might be worth it. If it's not worth it to you, then I guess it isn't worth it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say it's worth it for everybody. Sometimes you get to the end of the journey and you're like, wow, I did all of that work and this is the payoff. Yeah, I probably should have just left when I first got the knowing to leave. But, we'll just chalk it up to experience and say that I'll trust my intuition next time and leave when I know I'm supposed to. So I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope you get the best of what is offering itself in these times ahead. And I hope that you are able to see and acknowledge and celebrate all that you've already done. I was doing a reading for my journey buddy, and it didn't really hit me until I did that reading for my journey buddy. But I was like, everything that you've gone through, everything that you faced, and all that you continue to do, even when it's difficult, even when it's challenging, it's a testament to the amount of self love that you already have. And I think sometimes it's so like when we love another and we know like when we love another person, we consciously like do things for them or we go out of our way for them. It's like it's easy for us to know when we are expressing our love to someone else. But when we do it for self, maybe sometimes we don't always see it, but like that in and of itself it's a tremendous act of self-love. So like you already got it. You know what I mean? So much of this already feels like you got it. You got it. No, I'm prematurely cracking it. Oh, I got another song. Okay. Good. Ahimsa. Oh my gosh, is that really a song? I don't even remember what the card was, but it was like if this is paired with Ahimsa, then that is super fantastic. So thank you, Matthew, for contributing the Ahimsa that card was asking for. Again, you have to wait to the end of the video. Matthew was like, you know what? I'm gonna let them simmer on this. I could pull up the song right now. I could complete the synchronicity right now and just blow the lid off of everything, but I'm going to make them wait to the end of the reading. So thank you, Matthew, for demonstrating for us live how spirit baits us in real life. I'm just, I'm sorry. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I hope you all, again, like I said, it feels like things it feels like there's already a shift that's happening and occurring. But it feels like there's a little bit more, I don't want to say control. It feels like with participation, with active participation, we can almost like because it's like it's rolling in the way it's going to roll and it's shifting in the way it's going to shift anyway. But we can almost like nudge it and like here and there to end up on this like to get that golden egg to hatch into the golden goose. Never mind the goose that lays golden eggs, the golden goose that lays platinum eggs. You know what I mean? I don't know. So, anyway, I'll catch you all later. Have a great night, morning, evening, afternoon, whatever, whenever, as I've said. Thank you again, Steph, for this gift. Thank you, Russ, for spending your birthday with all of us, even though I've missed like every live. And thank you all for being here tonight. It's been a blast. It's been fun. I'm going to go get some food.